Welcome everybody to another edition of the Bakcou Builds. Today we're gonna unbox and build our new Puma X22. So follow along. All right, so once you got the bike in the box delivered, you will use a pair of sharp dikes, snip the bands, get your sharp razor knife, cut the box up, get it off. But on a note, you want to make sure anytime you cut that you don't cut any critical cables or tires or anything that's inside the box. So as you can see, the crate's put together, cut the bands, zip ties from the front wheel, and remove it carefully from the cage support before you actually unbolt the whole support of the cage. 9/16 is the socket to remove the bolts that's holding the frame together in metal. Either you can use a drill with socket or you can do it by hand with a wrench or a crescent. Maintenance tools that come with the bike are underneath the seat that you can keep with, but they also are the tools that you will need to assemble the bike. So this is the toolkit that you'll get with the bike. What it comes with is a small Phillips screwdriver, a T40 wrench to remove the handlebars and some of the parts on there. You've also got 24mm wrench for the front axle to remove, an 8mm socket to remove and adjust some of the other parts on the bike as we need to assemble or to maintain the bike. One tool that you won't find in here is a 19mm Allen wrench. That will help you remove the front axle, install it, and finish the process. Front fender that's zip tied to the rear tire. So remove that with the dikes. Make sure again to be careful you don't cut your rear tire or scar it anyway, and just set that to the side for a minute. All right, so on this next step, use your T40 wrench to remove the handlebar U-bolts. Set those aside just right there on the seat. Remove the handlebar that's mounted on the side of the fork. Be careful as you cut the tape and the plastic that you don't cut any vital cords or scar anything. Once you get the handlebars set in place, get the U-bolts back in, set your screws, use the T40 to tighten those things down. Get it snug, but remember, when you get the bike together, you're gonna wanna make your final adjustments to each rider to make sure that you ride comfortable and you can still adjust them before you torque everything down to spec. So at this point now, you'll notice that the left-hand controls are gonna be wrapped up in plastic on the left side of the bike with the high-low. Take the Phillips screwdriver, open that up, clamp it on the handlebar. There's a little hole and a tab that you'll want to line up and make sure that that goes down inside that hole to hold that securely. Put the screws back in, use your Phillips to tighten those in, and then you'll use your 8mm wrench to undo the brake handle clamp, remove the 2 screws, get it set the right angle that you want that brake, and then retighten them with the 8mm. Set these tight, but you'll want to finalize everything once you get the bike together and you're on it. You can adjust where you want your brake grips, your handlebar angles, and then you'll torque everything down to the torque specs. The next step is to install the front fender. It's much easier before you put the front wheel on, but you'll want to remove the 3 screws that's up in the frame that's going to hold the fender on. It's a T30 star. Remove those 3, and when you get the fender up in there, you'll notice 2 little tabs on the headlight and holes in the fender. You'll want to insert them, get them in there before you line that and get that tight, because then that helps you adjust your headlight when you're on the trail, and it holds the headlight steady. Replace the 3 T30s and get that front fender all nice and snug, right up and tight. All right, so now that we got the handlebars on and the fender and the bike stable, we're gonna prepare to remove the front axle of the bike and get it up on a bike stand. So you'll wanna use your T40 to loosen up the 4 grip screws that's in the axle. You'll use your 24mm wrench that comes in the kit, and then you'll also need the 19mm Allen wrench to loosen up the axle, get the nut off one end and tap that out. If you have a second pair of hands at this time, would be nice. They could lift the weight off and be able to get that axle out much easier and then get it up on a bike stand. So now we're ready to put the front wheel on. Again, make sure that the wedge is out of the brake calipers. Sometimes you can take a flathead screwdriver, get it in there and kind of depress those pistons a little bit to open them up. Once you get them open, make sure that your rotor goes inside the brake pads. Get that lined up, and you'll start back with inserting the axle through, both lining up inside to the other side, kind of tapping that in. And then you'll again use your 19mm Allen on one side and a 24mm wrench to tighten up that front axle. So now we've got the bike together. If you want to get it off the stand, get on the kickstand, sit on it, make your final adjustments on the handlebars, the brake levers, get it all comfortable to where you're at, and then clean up your tools that's going to go back in the bike. Get the seat. There's a little clip on the back of the seat on the left side that releases the back. 2 little prongs in the front. Lift that seat up, put the tools away. Then you'll find down in there the main power cord that you'll want to plug into the battery. You'll see that it plugs in on the left side. And as you're looking at that, you'll notice on the opposite side of where the main power plugs in is the charging port. And that's where you're going to charge the bike. So once you got your battery power plugged in, you can shut that seat, turn it on, and check your tire pressures and have some fun. So on the handlebars, you'll notice on the left-hand grip, you have a high and a low. The low is low speed for beginners and intermediate riders. The H is a high power. You're going to notice much more speed. Reverse. This is drive mode and a horn on that side. On the right side, you've got the kill switch and the power. On the top, if that's up, the display will still say on, but you won't have any power or any throttles. Then you've got the erupt button down below, and that's kind of like a power band. So when you're hitting that, it's going to give you about another 1,000 RPMs in that motor to really get after it and then climb that hill you need. Again, thank you personally from me and the whole team at Bakcou for following along on this Bakcou build. And if you have any comments or questions, make sure you leave them below. Make sure you like and subscribe. And again, thank you for watching one of Bakcou Build's videos.